Professional wrestling, a world of high-flying action, larger-than-life characters, and, of course, the infamous heel, the villain we all love to hate. But what if I told you that the tactics used by these wrestling villains bear a striking resemblance to the political strategies of one of the most polarizing figures in modern history, Donald Trump? In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating parallels between a pro wrestler playing a heel character and Donald Trump. Stick around because this is going to be an eye-opener. In the world of professional wrestling, the heel is the ultimate antagonist, the character designed to make you boo, scream, and maybe even throw your popcorn at the screen. Whether it's Ric Flair's arrogance, Rowdy Roddy Piper's sharp tongue, or the Iron Sheik's provocations, heels thrive on being the bad guy. They break the rules, they insult the crowd, and they do everything they can to make sure you hate them. And guess what? That's exactly why we keep watching. But why do these villains matter so much? Simple. Without a good heel, there's no drama, no conflict, and no story. They're the ones who make the heroes look good. They're the reason you cheer when the good guy finally wins. Enter Donald Trump, a man who, much like a wrestling heel, rose to political prominence by breaking the rules, provoking outrage, and dominating the media. From his catchy, albeit controversial nicknames for opponents like Crooked Hillary to his bold, often divisive rhetoric on issues like immigration, Trump's tactics were straight out of the wrestling heel playbook. Trump's political persona wasn't about playing nice. It was about getting attention, and it worked. Just like a heel, he knew how to get a reaction, whether it was cheers from his supporters or boos from his critics. Either way, he kept everyone talking, and in politics, that's half the battle. Let's take a closer look at how Trump, like any good wrestling heel, used performance and spectacle to his advantage. His rallies were more than just political events. They were shows, complete with catchphrases, chants, and plenty of theatrics. Trump knew how to work the crowd, feeding off their energy and turning every appearance into must-see TV. And just like in wrestling, where the heel's antics drive the storyline, Trump's controversial statements and actions kept him at the center of the news cycle. Whether you loved him or hated him, you couldn't ignore him. Now let's talk about the audience. In wrestling, the heel's job is to make the crowd pick a side, to get them so emotionally invested that they can't help but react. Trump did the same thing on the political stage. His rhetoric was designed to polarize, to create a stark divide between his supporters and his opponents. The result? A deeply divided nation, with both sides more engaged and more enraged than ever before. But here's where things get interesting, and maybe a little concerning. In wrestling, the heel's impact is confined to the ring, but in politics, the consequences are much more real. Trump's approach didn't just reshape political campaigns, it changed how we talk about politics, how we consume media, and even how we interact with each other. Trump's heel-like persona pushed the boundaries of what's acceptable in political discourse. His confrontational style challenged norms, and while it energized his base, it also contributed to a more divided and, at times, hostile public arena. The media, much like wrestling fans, couldn't look away, often prioritizing sensationalism over substance. So, what does all this mean? Well, just like a legendary wrestling heel leaves a lasting impact on the sport, Trump's influence on American politics and culture is undeniable. He showed us that in both wrestling and politics, performance matters, sometimes even more than the substance. But as we move forward, it's important to ask ourselves, what's the cost of turning politics into a spectacle? One thing's for sure, the parallels between a pro wrestling heel and Donald Trump give us a lot to think about. They remind us of the power of performance in shaping public perception and the importance of staying vigilant when it comes to the role of spectacle in our democracy.